Hey guys, Jonathan Selensky here with Long Range Tactics and Distinguished Tactical. Today we're going to be going over the Protean Innovations bipod system. So this is a relatively new company to the bipod market. You guys have seen a lot of new stuff come out, and new features is pretty much the name of the game when it comes to bipods, especially in the competition market. So we've gone from Harris, which had very minor adjustments with just leg length and cant, and then we went to Atlas, which allowed you to set your legs at different angles, and now the big one right now is the SkyPod, which allows for a lot more adjustments with width of the bipod, length of the legs, angle that it's going at. So what makes Protean Innovations bipod unique is it's got a trigger activated mechanism. So all I have to do is press this trigger and I can set my bipods from completely collapsed to all the way open to any of the notches in between. And it's very quick. I don't have to do it one leg at a time. It's been pretty helpful in my matches so far that I've used it in, especially my last match at the LHK Shooting Sports for the NRL 22 match. You guys can see the video I put up with the car. I was able to very quickly get my bipods deployed because we were required to have them start in the up position. The other nice thing about it is it's got this feature, and let me move it over so you guys can see it a little bit better, where you can unlock the bipod and traverse left and right without your bipod having to move. So all I'm going to do is flip that switch over, and now I've completely freed up for when I'm shooting at moving targets or engaging multiple targets. And I'm not having to deal with my bipod legs freaking chattering over as I'm forcing my position. I can just leave them set and I adjust my position back here, and I'm still going to get that pressure on the bipod. I'm still going to have a stable position, but now I'm not fighting the bipod to get into that position or having to move the whole gun. I can just traverse left and right. And then it's quick, easy, flip that toggle back and it'll lock into place when I'm centered. And so now I'm back centered onto it. It's not going to flop around. The other nice thing about this bipod set is how easy it is to adjust the legs. Because you've got your button here on the back, you can reach forward while you're in position and just the weight of that leg will bring it down by itself. I'm not having to pull on anything, I'm not having to find my setting, I'm not having to break my position to go up there and find the button. It's a nice big toggle, and the tolerances are good enough that I can go up and press it again and the weight of the rifle drops it back down to where I need it. It has these notches every 1/4 inch, so you've got a ton of adjustments that you can set in here to kind of perfect the height of your bipod. Alright, the feet are another nice feature. Because they're not round, one of the biggest problems I had with Atlas was they would spin on me. Or they would just kind of chatter along if I put pressure into it. But with these nice big rectangular feet, they've got a lot of bite in it. They're also connected to the bipod leg with a little ball on the inside, and so when you're on an angle like a rooftop, your feet will actually grab the rooftop properly because they'll flex into that angle with your legs staying straight up. So that's another nice benefit of these nice big fat feet or rectangular feet on that ball connector piece that they have with the legs. It does have an anti-kilt piece in it too, which is kind of nice because you can tighten it just with a couple of Allen keys. So if it's too loose or it's loosened up, you can sit there and tighten it. That allows you to cant probably a good, what's that, like 30 degrees over each direction. So if you have that really weird unlevel ground or you get into position, instead of messing with your bipod legs, you can just sit there and adjust your cant in the rifle. One of the other great features of this is how you can kind of customize it to how you like. So I've got the full grip on here right now. This would be more ideal for your patrol rifles, your designated marksman rifles, stuff like that, because you may have to have a full handle on the front to help you control the rifle. With a precision rifle like this, I'm not going to want that. So I can pop this thing off with just one press of the button on the back, and it comes with a smaller one that's about that size, or I can just leave it with that piece and no grip on it at all, which reduces the signature and how much stuff I have that can get in the way, but still gives me that little piece that I can grip onto to activate the trigger. One of the other features I like is the top piece that connects to your Picatinny rail doesn't need to be swapped around if you need that back angle like you saw in some of my other posts. All I have to do is unlock that traversing mechanism. I spin the bipod around, lock it down. Now I've got it so that I can set that back angle in my positions. So if I've got a very small shooting space that I need to reduce the distance between my rear bag and my bipods, I can then loosen my rail, run that all the way back, and tighten down my rail, and I've never had to take my bipods off. And if I need, say I've got two positions or one small and the other one doesn't allow for me to have my bipods there, I can shoot my first position, unlock that lever, spin it back around, lock it down, and I can do, that's a short enough time I can do that in a match on a stage. I'm not having to pull my ARCA rail off or anything like that. So that's another advantage that this bipod has over a couple of the other systems that are out there. So now that we've gone over a couple of the pros, let's go over some of the cons. The biggest one that I had to overcome right away was it doesn't come with an ability to have an ARCA adapter. So the clamp that it has only connects to Picatinny rails. Isn't the biggest issue. I was able to overcome it pretty easily. I had an extra rail sitting around the house, and so I was able to drill 2 holes in it and set it up so I could attach to my Area 419 ARCA adapter, and then I'm able to use that rail. So if I take this off, you can see I've just got a Picatinny rail on the bottom of my adapter, and that's what slides on. So that was the first thing I had to do. The issue with this is because of how this mechanism locks into the Picatinny rail, it leaves a little bit of slop. And then once you add the slop of me having my homemade Picatinny rail and my ARCA adapter, it's got a little bit more play in it than I would like to see, but nothing major. Like, it's not going to cause you any major issues. I'm just one of those weirdos that likes everything to be super nice and tight. It's one of the reasons why I like the JP chassis, because some of those chassis have just a little bit of wobble in the cheek piece. Not enough to cause problems, it just drove me nuts. So that's one of the things I don't like about it, is it's got a little bit of slop. But keep in mind, this bipod wasn't designed around competition shooting. It was meant more for the tactical application of a bipod set, and not necessarily for a bolt gun that's getting thrown around on barricades a lot. So keep that in mind. The other thing, I would love to see these legs spring-loaded, kind of like you see on the, I think it's the AccuShot bipods, where if I pressed this, instead of it just having a fallout, where if dirt and stuff gets in there, it might start to tighten up those tolerance to where it doesn't fall out on its own. It's nice and new right now, so it does. I would love for that to be spring-loaded, but that's just a minor personal preference. And the last thing is it doesn't like to lock in all the way closed sometimes, and it falls back down to that first notch. Not a big deal, because it's not like it's collapsing all the way down to where it's going to get into the way, but I'd love to see that tolerance tightened up a little bit, or the tolerance loosened up a little bit, I should say. So that way when I throw it all the way forward, it's guaranteed to lock up like it did right there and stay in the collapsed position. Overall, I think this is an awesome piece of gear, especially being new to the market. It's got a lot of things I really like about it. I look forward to continue to use it for a little while and probably end up buying one of them in the future. It's got a lot of advantages over other systems. I haven't messed with the SkyPods too much, but the price point for this is a lot lower than the SkyPod. So for the advantages it has, I think it offers a lot to the shooter, even though it wasn't necessarily designed for competition shooting. Hope you guys got something out of this interview. Go ahead, give Protean Innovations a like and a follow on Facebook, and give us a like, a follow on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Have a good one.